A wonderful Sunday evening to you here. This is Midnight Movie Talk with me, Eric Weber, and we are ready to roll here. Sunday's one of my favorite shows because we do Box Office Bonanza. I love alliteration. If you guys don't know that by now, I am all about it. So tonight, it is Box Office Bonanza Sunday night. Let's get into what happened at the multiplex over the weekend. We have a tie. Top Gun and Elvis tie at $30.5 million. How does that happen? We're going to tell you how that happens. Not just because they're the same number, because they're not the same number. And let me tell you what's going to happen here, and this is why you watch this show, because we're going to tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. All right, let's get into THR. I think does a nice job. Pamela McClintock again. I mean, I could use variety. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a summation of what happened over the weekend. In a rare box office dance-off, Elvis and Maverick tied for the weekend crown with estimated $30.5 million. Remember, Sunday is estimated. They know what it made on Friday. They know what it made on Saturday. And now it comes down to today. And I'll tell you what's going to win here in a second because it's very clear the winner tomorrow. Elvis, here's the thing about Elvis. So people are saying it's outperform, okay? I don't believe that's the case. I had this film at 30 plus the entire time. So when you look at the film, you're talking about 30 and a half. That's about where we wanted it. I wanted it higher. I really wanted it at 35, 40, maybe even pushing higher. But here's the good news for Elvis. Okay, first of all, you've got look at the numbers here. The people who went to see this film, old. Okay, they were over 55. 29% of the audience was over 55. We were wondering, when is that audience going to fully come back to the multiplex? Right? And now we have it. We got it with Maverick. I told you the importance of Maverick. Here's the importance of Maverick. Maverick came in and brought everybody back in, especially that older demo. And it's been now 5 weeks. We're going to talk about Maverick in the $1 billion club here in a second. But I'm just want to drill down on the fact that Maverick is so important to the marketplace because it brought people that were maybe still on the fence. Okay, yes, they were. And they said, I'm going to go to the movies. And because of that, you have Elvis here at 30.5. Now, again, I want to see that number a little bit higher, but it's very solid. Warner Brothers will work with it. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay, let me pull up the domestic box office estimates for Sunday, and this is where it's all going to flip, okay, because Elvis is going to end up winning this tomorrow, and here's why. When Warner Brothers estimated their number, let's pull it up, they went with 7.7 million, call it 7.5, for today. Maverick, on the other hand, Paramount said 10.2 million. That's on the high end, okay? That's a very high number. Now, I understand Maverick's holding, and it's insane. I mean, it was down, what was it, even 30% this weekend? But Elvis has more room to grow there with that 7.7. So I think it's going to go up. Maverick might come a shade down, and then that will give Elvis I'm talking like the win by that much, right? It's going to be really tight. But I think Elvis is going to be your winner based on what I'm showing you right here. The fact, let me zoom it in. So you can see right there, 7.7 versus 10.2. And again, there's more room to play with that 7.7. Now, here's what happened. I can tell you right now. Warner Brothers and Paramount were on the phone this morning, and they were discussing where they were. And I think they agreed to say, we are both going to come in at 30.5. The chances of both films being estimated exactly at 30.5 is zero. Okay, it's pretty much zero. So they worked with one another. So let's say that Elvis ends up winning. Paramount benefits by Warner Brothers saying, you can tie us, and now we both have number one. Because you know how many times this happens where the number that actually happens tomorrow when we get that Sunday number, no one talks about it. We talk about it tonight. We talk about Sunday. All day Sunday, it's what film won at the box office, and we have a tie. So I'm telling you, hit me in the comments. I think Elvis has this. There's no question about it. Let's go to Maverick, and it is now at 1 billion worldwide, which is obviously somewhere that no one thought. Okay, anyone who says they thought this was at a billion, going back before it was released, nobody said that. So let's remember that. Let's not pretend that there are people out there saying this is a $1 billion film. Now, once it opened, you could see that, yeah, I think this has a shot. Look here, 521 million domestic. International, 485 for a total of 1 billion and 6 million. So that is obviously way above where we thought this film was going to go. But this speaks to giving the moviegoer precisely what they want. Okay, nobody walks out of Maverick and says it's bad. There's like 3 people on Rotten Tomatoes. Is it 4 now? I know Scott Mendelsohn's one. Scott, you got it wrong. Okay, Scott missed it. But everybody loves the film. That's why it's at $1 billion. You got multiple views. People are going, obviously, many times to see the film. And you have everybody, basically the whole audience that wanted to see it has gone or is in the process of going, which is, I mean, you talk to people, go out there. We're cinephiles, right? We go to movies all the time. Even people that you don't normally associate with going to a movie theater, they have seen Maverick. I promise you. Okay? So that's why this film is up and over $1 billion now. The Black Phone, really solid number. 23 point, what was our number on this? 23 point something rather. I mean, we called it here. I said this is a $20 million plus film, and here it is doing just that. Why? Very simply, because it was the perfect counter-programming play. Okay, when you look at this film at 23.4 million, you had all these other options such as Maverick, obviously Elvis, you have Lightyear, which we're going to get to in a second. And what was the other 20 million? Black Phone. There's one I'm forgetting. Good Lord, whatever that other film is. You are looking at really a marketplace that is stacked, but you have this film, a horror film. We haven't had one since X, which was back in, was it March? Was it February? It's been forever on X. That's how long it's been. We had a major horror film in the marketplace. And so, perfect timing. And we've seen this happen before with The Conjuring back in 13, 14. Warner Brothers did that, and then they said, hey, we're going to keep putting these films out in the summer, these horror films. It was late summer, early fall, but late summer. And you get this pop because the audience is ready to go on horror. It's a cheap film. I'm sure The Black Phone, the budget was not nearly like Lightyear at $200 million, which, by the way, Lightyear was off 65% this weekend. 65%. I mean, that is an atrocious number. When you look at this film, let me roll it back and let me pull up the numbers here on Lightyear. I told you last week, it's gone down every single day. And when it goes down every single day throughout the week, the number keeps dropping. Look at this. Here it is. Look at that. No, look at it. Minus 22, minus 14, minus 52. All these are negative, okay? The next time we have a positive is not until Friday, okay? Because Thursday was so low. That Friday number was not good, and we knew this film was in big trouble. And now you're looking at a second weekend of, 17.7? So you're looking at minus 65%. Don't let anybody spin this. There's no other way to spin it except to say that this is a failure because this is a $200 million film that is now at 160 some odd million worldwide. Okay, that is not even at its budget, let alone all the advertising money spent for this film, which was way over 200 million when you throw that in. This is a film, for a myriad of reasons, has underperformed and is frankly, I'm not going to say a straight up bomb because the number's not like 25 million, okay, total. But given the budget, given the expectations, this is a massive, massive, massive disappointment. There's no other way to spin it. There were people last week, do you remember those people that were like, just wait, it'll have legs throughout the summer? I'm like, no, it won't. Look at what's happening here. You can very clearly see this is not a film with legs. When you look here and each day you see it going down during the week, how do you say it's going to have legs? And that's why you got to really think about who you trust when it comes to these numbers, because I have no vested interest in any of these films. I like certain films more than others, but ultimately I'm not going to let that shade how I report they're doing in the marketplace. Like that's not objective reporting. If you're a Disney homer, then you're going to say, oh, it's okay, it's going to still, and it's like, no, it's not. It's especially this next coming weekend because you have Minions. Minions is going to knock it out. It's going to be a KO, bam, and it's out. Lightyear's done. And it's going to drop again, not just because of Minions, but because the marketplace doesn't want this film. Very clearly, it's almost toxic at this point. Lightyear is a film that has become, I don't even want to see it, and I think that's obviously the worst place you can be when it comes to a major film. And we're going to get into it. Comment time, let's do it. Before we do that, it is time to reveal tonight's kit. It is Brentford from the Premier League. They are in for year number 2. They got in last year, up from championship, and they stay for year 2. So, and I like this one. It's one of my rare Umbro. There it is, Umbro. Old school. Let's get into the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, tonight. Hammer the like button. Love you all. It's a true community we're building here. I mean, this is about your takes and then boom, back and forth. Because I think you guys are smart, really smart, and I love it. Trey, good evening to you. First, you are. Nice job. That's like the second or third time you've done that, Trey. Welcome to the channel. Really appreciate you watching. Nick, Maverick only needed 30 days to hit 1 billion, a phenomenon. And I was calling it a phenomenon early here. Like, really, the first weekend, you look at what was happening. It's a phenomenon. We don't get these very often, okay? Remember that. This is a very rare occurrence that we are seeing with Maverick. And the Best Picture nomination is all but a lock at this point, based on the fact that you roll it back to what Nick says here, it is a phenomenon. Whenever you get to that level, go back and look at films that were generally, populist kind of films, such as Titanic, such as, even King's Speech, obviously not as big. Well, don't get me started on King's Speech and Social Network. Not tonight. There's a whole video on Film Courage about that from me. But I think when you look at a film that all of a sudden pops up, Return of the King, that really gets huge based on everybody seeing it and loving it, Maverick fits that profile. Therefore, I don't see any reason why this does not get a Best Picture nomination. And not just that, it's really Tom Cruise, Best Actor. Do I think it's going to happen? I would say probably not, but I think he's in the conversation. Austin Butler is absolutely getting a nomination. There's no chance of there being 5 better actors than Austin Butler who becomes Elvis. He is truly, you were watching Elvis Presley when you watch Elvis. I hope you guys went out to see it, because you know how much I love that film. I mean, there's issues. Tom Hanks, we got to talk about Tom Hanks. But now that you've seen it, we can talk about Tom Hanks' performance. But, I mean, the film, I love Baz. Baz Luhrmann just absolutely is my kind of direction. Constantly moving, constantly sliding those triple boxes, quad boxes, things. It's just, this is interesting to me. Visually, you are not bored watching that film. Some would say the edits are too rapid fire. I understand that. But for me, I don't mind going to see that and then flipping around and watching something much more cinephilic with longer takes. Any A24 film, basically, you're going to accept for Everything Everywhere. But we got to talk about that. We actually need to talk about Everything Everywhere all at once. And let me tell you why. Okay, before we get in the comments, I want you guys to comment on this. Okay, this is very important. Let me pull it up. So today, apparently, this writer sends a tweet about Everything Everywhere all at once. Her name is Joyce Carol Oates. You guys see it on the screen, okay? So, you know how I feel about the film, right? I'm not a huge fan of Everything Everywhere all at once for all of the reasons that are listed here on this tweet. Okay, though it sounded intriguing in reviews, EEAAO is possibly the most tedious film I have ever seen. A few banal ideas recycled mercilessly, not absurd so much as silly, overloud, poorly executed, might still be playing. We bailed out after 2 hours. Now, okay, let me address a few things about this tweet. One, I agree with almost everything that's said here. Okay, I think it's very much spot on about this film. And I want to get your comments, and we're going to get into that, but I just want to touch on something. This is a larger issue. I like to talk about things and then break it out and talk about a larger systemic problem with Twitter, okay? So she sends this out here. Not a fan of her leaving, by the way. I say you finish the film because that way you can't fully comment on it if you left. I think she's better served if she sits through the film, even if it's another 20 minutes, because you're 2 hours, it's 225. That said, you know what happens? What happens on Twitter every time? Okay, I'm not going to defend Joyce Carol Oates. I'm just going to say this. As soon as you send a take like this, and I've been here, okay? We've all been there. You send a take. What happens? Instead of like attacking the actual message, which is that Everything Everywhere all at once is absolutely tedious. It's absolutely merciless in beating you over the head with those ideas. I mean, how many times do we have to see hot dog fingers before it's like, I got it, okay? And Rakunatui, how many times do I have? It's a bashing you over the head, a repetitive, just relentless end to that film, and I understand exactly how she feels. Now, but here's the issue. So as soon as you send something like that, what happens? Here we come. So we go down here, and then someone's going to dig into all of the tweets. Here it is. So she sent it one time. Do people eat Japanese food on purpose? Okay. Listen, the comments are really where I want to get to this, but this is what we have on Twitter. This is what happens all the time. Instead of attacking the message right? Which she said, and I believe everything about this is true, about Everything Everywhere All at Once. You might not agree, but I think it's very fair, and I feel the exact same way about the film. But instead of attacking that, we go right to, let's dig through all of her tweets from the past, back in 2013, where she said something, do people eat Japanese food? Now, I'm not going to say whatever, but, I mean, is that what we're going to do? Are we doing that? That's what Twitter, that's the thing that's infuriating about Twitter. You know, if I say something like, again, same thing, oh, let's go through all of Eric's tweets and find something that could be offensive to somebody. I think that's just, be better than that, man. Just be better. I mean, is she really the worst person in the world for sending that tweet? Do people eat Japanese food on purpose? I'm not suggesting it's the best tweet, but I'm also not I'm also thinking, I mean, come on. I mean, there's okay. Comments. You guys, you're in the comments. These are the comments are for you. Let's go back and get to the comments, and we'll go back. In fact, let me scroll down because I'm going to get to comments about that right now. If anyone has anything there, not yet. I will get. Okay, let's roll through. Then we're going to come back to that. If you have, I really just wanted to drill down on that because I see it so often on Twitter. Attack the person instead of the message, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that, man. Just be a better person. And then some people say, well, she needs to be a better person. Okay, well, I know, but, you know, are we making the world better by doing that? I don't know. Jay, good evening to you. It's incredible that a film in its 5th week, number 5 for Maverick, is competing for the weekend box office win. It is, and again, we're not going to see this again anytime soon. Not Thor. I mean, Thor could still win worldwide. I still think Thor could get to $1 billion, but I think Top Gun is still soaring, so it's going to keep pushing past. So I used to think Thor. I'm now thinking with what we're seeing with Maverick, I think Maverick's going to be your winner, but Thor's going to get close. I'm going to see it on Wednesday. We're going to have hopefully, I think the review embargo is up on Wednesday, so we'll have a long discussion about that film. Spoiler-free, you know how good I am at that. I will not ever spoil a film. But I think that this is your winner for the summer, no question. Nick, good evening to you. Saw 2 films in one day yesterday. Black Phone, yes. And then, let's see. Yeah, I would agree. More like, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. I wouldn't even say it. I know it is a horror film. But were you scared? Nick, were you ever scared? I don't think I was scared once during the Black Phone. And I get back to this. And you guys, now that you've seen it, tell me. I'm not a huge fan of Ethan Hawke in that film. Not because of what he does. I think he's great. I always love Ethan Hawke. It's because I don't fully buy him as the maniacal, serial killer, child-snatching SOB that he, even though he looks great in the mask. I'm just saying, I wonder if Michael Shannon would be better. I wonder if that dude who played Polka Dot Man would be stronger. Not because of Ethan Hawke being weak, it's about perception and what we perceive him to be, and I perceive him to be pretty much of a good guy. I understand he's the bad guy in Moon Knight, which I have not watched, but I'm just saying, I think of Ethan Hawke, I think of a good overall dude, like the dad from Boyhood. I do not think of a serial killer in the bottom of the basement. Now, in Sinister, remember, he was in, obviously worked with Derrickson in horror. He was not the killer in Sinister. So I think that is one of my issues. Do I think it ruins the film? No. But I'm just asking you a question. Who's better? Ethan Hawke, as he is in this film, or give it to Michael Shannon? Michael Shannon's crazy. Like, Michael Shannon's the kind of guy I would never go up to. I would just, like, if I'm ever at a party with Michael Shannon, I'm not going up to him because he looks like he will rip your head off. And whether it's true or not, I don't want to deal with that. And I think that's what a Michael Shannon would have done with this role. More menace. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's my thought. But I'm glad A-List rocks. You know how I feel about A-List. A-List is the number one thing you need to add to your budget. If you have $24 a month that you can squeeze in, you need to get A-List. If you're near a Regal, I know they have one too. I forget what it's called. But get that. It's worth it. You can just go see a movie. And even if it's bad, it's part of your package where you get 12 films a month for $24. It's $2 a movie. I mean, I'm going to see Minions on Thursday. We'll talk about that. I'm going to see Thor Wednesday. That's a press screening. So, again, Wednesday for Thor. Wednesday, full-on review minus any spoilers anytime. Can you pull up the all-time domestic box office numbers? Maverick will end up being top 10 all-time. Let's do it. 1 second. All-time domestic BO. Let's see if it knows how to do that. Here it is. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's pull up the thing. Let's see if the computer is working for me. That's the wrong, let's share a different screen. Give me just a second, you know, technology. Here we go. Okay, Chrome tab. Let's do it. Here it is, lifetime box office numbers. Okay, so we have The Force Awakens at, wait a second, this is domestic. Okay, this is domestic, this is domestic, domestic. Okay, but let's just go through domestic, okay? Let's go through domestic. So we go down, and we are now at Maverick, right behind Rogue One. okay? And so it's going to keep climbing. So it gets, let's say it gets to, at 550, it becomes number, 12. And then past that, it's got to get to like 610 to get in the top. Actually, no, 620 to get in the top 10. But I mean, look here. I mean, remember, we were saying months ago, like, Top Gun Maverick, is this going to even like make 150 million at the box office? And then it does this insane multiple that we've seen now. It's going to have one of the biggest multiples, opening to multiple generator that I think I've ever seen or anyone's ever seen. And that's why today I sent this tweet out today. I really think it's very important, and I've said this now for weeks. You guys have dealt with this for so long, but I'm going to do it again tonight. It's over. The pandemic era is over when it comes to box office. I called that weeks ago, okay? It's not something that just happened. I've been saying that for weeks now, and at this point, if you read another box office breakdown that says we are still in the COVID era or pandemic era, it's incorrect. You can say it's there, but nobody is acting like it matters anymore. That's the reality, and I deal in realities, not spins, okay? So stop saying that we are in the pandemic era. It is done. And don't take that another way. We're like, oh, well, Eric, you're saying it's not serious. No, I'm talking about the reality of people in the marketplace going to movies for $20 million films and one that just passed $1 billion worldwide. We are 100% in a regular market now. No more pandemic era. In fact, I think I noticed the trades didn't do it today because if they're smart, they listen to Midnight Movie Talk and they say, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Because we nailed it. It's almost always... And you guys are really smart too, so you help. You guys were awesome. It's awesome teamwork. Okay, we did that one already. Give me a second. So there's that. My local theater was packed on a Saturday. Theatrical was not dead. Still thriving, higher than before. These films making boatloads of cash. 100% right on all aspects of that, Nick. It is. We are in a fantastic place. We are in uncharted waters that we haven't had since 2019. But I think we're even going above. That speaks to people being locked in their houses for 2 years. Do you remember, and we talked about Lightyear down 65. Onward was down 72, but what happened to Onward. So if anyone says Onward was worse than Lightyear, it's because that was the weekend that everyone was told that COVID was going to kill you and all that. Okay, let me just say this. For a moment, I thought about this. I was just out for a little walk through the neighborhood, and I was chill, and I saw everybody out enjoying their lives. Do you remember 2 years ago or more, when we agreed to stay home and hide and lock our doors inside of our houses? I just can't. For me, the concept is almost like insane to me to think that we agreed to that and we basically went batshit crazy for over 2 years. I mean, and now I think people are done with it and they're ready to get back into the world, and that's why the marketplace has 4 $20 million films. 100%. Gone Girl, good evening to you. I thought Elvis was good, not great. Austin Butler, incredible. There are issues with the film. I would agree with you. Tom Hanks' performance is not great. It's not one of his best performances. In fact, I wish the story were not told through Colonel Parker's eyes, but that's the story we got. That said, I think it's still a pretty comprehensive Elvis movie. I don't need to see an Elvis movie ever again because of Austin Butler, largely. And Baz's direction for me, as I said, always going to be a fan of his direction. Now, the combination of that direction plus Austin Butler minus Hanks gives me a pretty strong film that I really like. I mean, that 1968 NBC sequence is so strong from a cinematic standpoint. That, also the first Vegas concert. There's so many elements. Here's what I say about Elvis. The highs are stratospherically high, and the lows are not that low. So there are lows, and I think Tom Hanks is very clearly right there as the number one low. That said, the highs are so high, okay? Stratospherically, whenever I bring that word out, it means we are talking the top of we're at the top. We're in the ceiling of what cinema can deliver. The experience of being there and feeling it in your very being. Because of that, Elvis is a very good film. A very, very good film. I just wish that it would have been John Goodman. Someone said in a tweet to me that I wish it was John Goodman instead of Tom Hanks, and I would agree 120% on that. Aaliyah, good evening to you. I recall reading in Deadline, Lightyear would have large premium format, LPF. I think it's LPF, but it's fine. PLF for 2 weekends. Obviously, a providing clause exists there. Not to be surprised if Disney Plus VOD purchase rental within a month. They have the flexibility to do that. I would say it would be a smart move for them. I'm glad they didn't announce it ahead of time because that's going to limit your audience. People are going to say, oh, it's going to be at home in 2 weeks. I can wait. 3 weeks. I can wait. 4 weeks. I can wait. Top Gun Maverick. 4 months. I can't wait. You see how that works? It's called marketing. It's called being smart and how to drive people into your film. Top Gun Maverick, they said, Paramount came out and said it's going to be 4 months. 4 long months. 120 days. And then people, oh, this movie's great. I got to go. My parents went to see Top Gun Maverick. They haven't been to a movie since like 2018, 2017. It's been a really long time. So if they're going to the movie, everybody's going to the movies. And that's what we're seeing this weekend. And continued for the last several weeks. Superhero movies. Good evening to you. At what time? What a time I had at the cinema this weekend. I started with the Multiverse of Madness again. Okay. I know you like the film. You know how I feel about that. Mid-Marvel stakes, which is so fun. Wanda kills it. I agree. And you know how I feel about Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, just 947 million worldwide. What a run. Yeah, it's a very solid number. I still think Thor gets above it. Hit me in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong about that. I really feel like Thor gets above Strange 2 because it is in a really good spot. I think it's going to deliver for fans that aren't all Disney Plus watchers. That's a problem that Marvel has, and I think that they need to watch when they ask moviegoers to watch shows in addition to when they come into the movie, do homework. I've said it before on Midnight Movie Talk. I'm saying it now that's an issue. So I think you're looking at a situation with Thor that I think it's going to be more individual, where it's just the film. It's all it is all self-contained. And I think that Ashley Manzel, who joined us here on Thursday night when the Thor world premiere, we had Scott, we had Ashley on. Ashley pointed exactly to that the film doesn't require homework outside of the film. That's going to help. That is going to help the film when it comes to box office. Animated feature production budgets at Disney will decrease because of Lightyear. They're never going to get another $200 million. You're exactly right. All of those other films are $100 million or less, and somehow, some way, Lightyear came in at $200 million. You got to wonder, what did Disney pay Chris Evans to voice that? Because he had to get a crazy sum. He had to get, I bet you he must have got 15 mil or more. I don't know if you guys, if you've seen that. They would never divulge that, especially now with the film performing the way it is. But I'll bet you that Chris Evans got like 10 mil plus to voice it, okay? And what was one of the problems with the film? The fact that Tim Allen wasn't voicing it. That's fact, okay? You guys, you got to understand, that is a reality, that a lot of people had a problem with that. I don't think the film is like the worst with Chris Evans. You know, I've said that before. But is it better with Tim Allen? Yes. Yes. I'm absolutely certain that it's better with Tim Allen. Forget about politics. Is it better with Tim Allen voicing it? Yes is the answer. Not because of Chris Evans, because of Tim Allen. And being a comedian, originating the role, all of those things. My second meal was Maverick. Nearly full, only a few seats in the front, which is insane in weekend number 5, right? $1 billion club, Paramount, Paramount's killing it. I mean, listen, we had Lost City, we had Jackass, we had Scream, you had, what was the other one? Sonic. You had all, and then you have this. It's unbelievable what they've done. I mean, they're just absolutely killing it, and they don't put out as much product, but the films they do are all hits. Not one of those films was a total flop. Even A Quiet Place 2, remember, it came back in when everyone was like, I don't know if I want to go to the movies. Not anymore. Quiet Place 2 would probably open at close to 100 now. Whatever it opened at, it wasn't that, because remember, it was in the middle of still stay home, it's scary. A- word of mouth for Lightyear may have been, it's pretty good. You can wait to see it on Disney Plus. Or they just found a bunch of people that weren't as low on it. There's a lot of people that, you guys know that it became like this almost nuclear situation where people didn't want to get near it after that first weekend because it was so far below where it should be at 50 plus million. That's way under like 80 or higher. I mean, I thought it was going to get to 100. That's half. And now it's like down 65, and Minions is going to wipe it out. Minions are going to just spit on Lightyear's grave. Wow, that was intense. Yeah, isn't that what's going to happen? Can you imagine that? Just picture that for a moment. By the way, in this town, you cannot get away from Minions. It is literally everywhere you look is a poster for Minions, a bus stop, a billboard. They have a giant Minion down in Hollywood, like looking at you. If you've ever been to Universal Studios Hollywood, they have a Minion in the parking garage looking out over. I mean, literally everywhere you go. The awareness on this film has to be super duper high. That means this is going to open big this weekend. It's in the perfect situation. It's like a 90-minute film. Hooray, good job. Wonderful work by you right off the bat, Universal, for a sub 90-minute film. and this is going to pop. This is going to be a big hit this weekend, and it's going to run. Lightyear went and just crashed. Minions is going to take off because families are going to go see Minions. I would have had Flash as my summer 2023 blockbuster for obvious reasons. I think Mission Impossible will now be the blockbuster of summer 23. Indy Jones. I mean, next year is going to be really huge, right? Flash is. We've talked about Flash so much, and there's really not much more to say other than obviously Ezra Miller needs to stay in WITSEC for the next year, and even then, I don't know if it's enough. They've already said we're not going to work with him again. No surprise. We'll see what happens. I mean, if anything else happens, it's going to HBO Max. There's no question in my mind that that's their last play at that point. I went and got some sleep, then hit the cinema again to watch. You liked it. I mean, it's solid. It's good. I don't know if it's quite as great as some would claim it to be. That said, I think it's very hard to dislike the Black Phone. I mean, the issues I have are small. I think the young girl, Madeleine McCann, is just, oh my God, McGraw, excuse me. She is unbelievable. And I think that Derrickson has a really good article on THR. Go look at it. Not right now, but later. THR has an article about how he filmed that kitchen scene, and it was super intense, and he pulled back on it where he could have gone forward, and he walked up to the line without going over. Very important as a director to understand that and have a feel, and he talks about that. He knew that he had to tread a very cautious path, whereas he made one wrong step, they're going to turn against the movie, right? Turn against the movie. What do we talk about when we talk about turning against the movie? We talk about a movie for me, Possessor. You blow a kid's brains out. You crossed a line. I have turned against your film. Go to the last Cronenberg film, Crimes of the Future. Obviously, son and now dad. Crimes of the Future. I mean, your climax of the film is your third act is the autopsy of an 8-year-old kid. I mean, I'm turning against your film. How can you? I mean, it's not even horror. It's like, what the hell am I watching? You know, I do not like Crimes of the Future. I do not like Men, and I think I'm right. I'm 100% right on both of those. Neither one of those films are good. I love horror, and I love things that I don't mind disturbing things, but blowing a little kid's brains out, it's too much. It's way too much, like Possessor. I love a lot of it, and then that just ruins the whole film for me. And that's what Derrickson talked about. He could have gone too far with the kitchen scene where she's getting beaten by her dad, but he pulled back. He showed restraint, and that was why it works. And she's so real in that moment. That's why I have her listed on Awards Ace as a supporting actress candidate, because it's so strong. Superhero movies are the best movies again. There it is. Madeline in the kitchen was so intense. It hit the ceiling. Some of the people were very uncomfortable. But again, Derrickson talks about not crossing the line. Okay, and I think that's where it's right there, but I didn't feel like it did. And, kudos to Scott for not going overboard on that. Yes, JT, Elvis was 4 hours long. I can confirm that. Let me tell you what happened. So Elvis was a 4-hour cut, okay, or at least 3. And I know that there was a Nixon scene that was cut. This is from the test screening. A Nixon scene where he meets Nixon. Also, there was something with Natalie Wood. I don't know who played Natalie Wood. It might be on IMDb if it's still there. She was cut. That whole scene was cut. He mentions Natalie Wood, but it's gone. So Nixon and Natalie Wood were two things that were removed or extracted from the final Elvis cut when they wanted to get it down. Oh man, elite level production and direction. Production design. Okay, production design. Let's talk about production design for a minute, because I'm a total geek about production design, cinematography, score, the tech stuff. Production design is world building. Okay, whenever you hear production design, it sounds all exotic. It's really world building. How do you build the world that your film exists in? And when you look at Elvis, you create the world that Elvis was in, literally perfection, going back to the 60s into the 70s. And it feels like I am at NBC in 1968. That is exceptional production design. And it better get nominated for production design. There's no way there's going to be 5 films better in production design than Elvis. So these are the things I want you to pay attention to. I think I've learned over the years, after doing this for 10 plus years, you become better at identifying where a film excels. And you really need to be paying attention. I look at, here's how I talk about it. I think I talked about this on Film Courage. I'm going to mention this is how I view a film. When you watch a film, a lot of people are just watching the film, right? You're watching the screen, and that's all you see. You have to become adept at watching the film like a magic eye. Remember magic eye? You'd stare at it, and all of a sudden it goes boom, right? You can see like you can look around. You have to look at a film like a magic eye, where you can almost everything separates and you can see the individual elements, so that you can pull from the individual elements that are great. Cinematography, production design, score, editing, sound, all these things, right? And then you complete the picture of what you're looking at, and then you can identify where this film works, where it doesn't work, and then overall, does it work? When you look at like Maverick, everything as you look at that magic eye, from performances, obviously, to, I think, cinematography, direction, production design. I mean, yeah, you still have to obviously create the world that they're flying in, but usually production design is more of a dated kind of thing. It's more about a past, set in the past, period piece. But you're looking at this thing in 3D, and you're able to extract the elements. So try to do that. Next time you watch a film, stay engaged in the film, but also go magic eye on it, so that you can listen to the score, you can see the production design without ruining the experience. I think that's where the true film evaluation is made, and I think the people that are better at that are going to be stronger as critics / reviewers / evaluators, as I call myself, because you're able to see all the things at one time without just watching a screen. So try that. You know, it's something you'll get better at. You have to watch a lot of films, and you have to, like I said, it's like magic eye. At first, you're looking at it going, oh my God, I see it. You're going to get to that point. It's just about reps. Everything in life is about reps, right? The more you do something, generally the better you're going to be. Okay, some people are better at some things than others naturally, but if, you know, let's say that you're an actor, the first time you act, I imagine you're not nearly as good as the 30,000th time that you've acted. So the more you do, what is that old thing you have to do, what is it, 10,000 hours or something before you're like a genius, whatever, you're elite. If you can get to that point, just watch a lot of films and try different things, and really don't just think of it about like the overall film. Think about the elements as well. I love doing that. Trey, Elvis is a great film. Austin Butler for Best Actor. I agree 100%, Trey. 100% on that. He absolutely is worthy of that. Tom Hanks was just bad. Gone Girl, I agree with you. I would say it's one of his worst performances. His character was in it way too much, and I didn't like his narration. I think that's the number one problem with Elvis. It's told through Colonel Parker's eyes / Tom Hanks, who is not the right guy for this film. The right guy for this role is, and I think someone said it, and I'm stealing it because it was good. They sent it to me. It was a tweet at me. I didn't steal from someone else's, inbox of tweets. John Goodman. John Goodman would be a better fit for this film. He wouldn't have to, first of all, he wouldn't have to put much makeup on him, right? John Goodman's kind of a little bit more robust, and he would just be perfect. Think about that for a moment. Him versus Hanks. I think that, here's what happened. They were casting the movie. Tom Hanks said, yeah, I want to do it. And you say to yourself, oh, Tom Hanks, he can't do anything wrong. And usually that's right. But in this case, he did not do it right. I just think he wasn't the right guy. It's like, you watch someone who's miscast, they just physically don't look like it, right? So if you're going to get like some pencil pushing nerd in a horror film, are you going to grab Chris Hemsworth? No, because dude's like Greek god, okay? Norse god, and he just looks like, king of the universe. You can't have him be the pencil neck geek, okay? Going way back to the 80s for that. You can't have that. It doesn't work. It's like The Rock in The Skyscraper. You look at him and he's supposed to be this office drone. You're like, dude, it's The Rock. His shirt doesn't even fit him. He's like all ripped. You gotta physically meet the demands of the role and meet the criteria. And I think that when you look at Tom Hanks, you're looking at somebody who really, you have to put him in a fat suit. He's not quite old enough, right? They got to get rid of his hair. You got to do all this work. Give it to John Goodman, and I think you wouldn't have to do nearly as much work on him physically, and then the role's better. It's stronger. So I would agree 100%. Tom Hanks is not great. Tom Hanks will not be getting an Oscar nomination for Elvis. That is a lock. I need a giant lock to come into the screen, like, whoosh, not going to happen. Jay, good evening. I actually thought Black Phone was slightly better than Elvis. Butler is great. Hanks actually takes away from the film. We're all saying the same thing, aren't we? First 20 minutes, Elvis all over the place. I would agree the first 20 minutes are not the strong point, but once it locks in, man, those highs are high. Like I said, stratospherically high. I saw it in Dolby to fully experience the musical scenes 100%. You know how much I love Dolby. I think you need to spend that upcharge. You need to spend the extra bucks. If you have A-list, you don't have to. You just get whatever you want because it's all the same price, free, okay, $24 a month. But go to Dolby, go to IMAX, go to 4DX, whatever the other one is, RPX over at Regal. I need to better familiarize myself with Regal. In fact, there's a Regal on the other side of town over in Sherman Oaks that's a little bit, it's not down the street like AMC. I need to go to Regal so I understand what it is, because I know a lot of you go to Regal, so I need to kind of immerse myself in that world. David, good evening to you. Happy checking on MMT again. Thank you again. Hey, guys, hammer the like button. I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Curious what you think about the overall quality and direction of A24 films over the past 5 years. I would agree that they have lost a step. Now, that said, the thing about A24 is very simply this, and you see a ton of them behind me. I mean, let's just look for a second. So, look behind me. So, we have, how many A24 films do you see that I love? You've got Ghost Story. You've got Lamb over my shoulder. Moonlight. Let's see, what else? Someone help me. What else do I have back there? There's got to be something else. Oh, Lady Bird's up there. Red Rocket, Florida Project, Farewell, Disaster Artist is over here. I have it a little outside of the screen. You know why? Because James Franco, Toxic. Come on's up here. You guys can't see it. It's above Harder They Fall. But, I mean, you're looking at a ton of A24 films. Here's the thing. A24, when they are on, like, I almost said on like Donkey Kong. Oh, my God. Please. Forget that was ever said. They are literally like, I'm locked into this film. Saint Maud, Good Time, Ghost Story, even X. Oh my God, X. Lamb. Just off the top of my head, really fast. Going way back, I go back to something like Locke. I love Locke with Tom Hardy. Spring Breakers obviously was pretty much my first thing I really paid attention. I mean, they had a couple things before that, but I remember I was back in Boston at the time, and I saw Spring Breakers, and you could see this new distributor taking shape, and they were just putting out electrifying shit, just stuff that was just like, wow, this is true cinema and interesting and different and in its own unique space. And then Ari Aster and Hereditary, and then later with Midsummer, and then the next one, Disappointment Boulevard this year. When A24 is on, they're on, like literally perfection to me. When they're off, we might have a real problem. I mean, major problem with that film. Everything Everywhere All at Once, not a huge fan of that film at all, as we just talked about earlier. There's a lot of things I do not love about that. So I think that I would still take my chances with an A24 film almost over pretty much anybody, like certainly in the indie space, even over Neon for sure. Neon, for me, the hit to miss ratio is certainly lower, right? Well, or higher. You're going to have a hit, and then you're going to have like 3 films I did not love. A24 is at least a 50-50 batting average for me. Even going back the last few, like I said, X, loved. Everything Everywhere All at Once, didn't love. Marcel the Shell, really liked. Let's see, what else do they have this year? Something else I'm forgetting. We'll go back to Lamb last year. It's like a 50-50, right? It's like one on, one off, one off. So I would still take my chance with A24. When I see an A24 film that's going to be screened for the press, I go, I want to see that film like now, because the chances are I'm either going to really like it or really dislike it, but I'd rather take my chances there with something that's that high. And I think that's the thing about A24. To your point specifically, David, I would say that I think that we are seeing maybe a little bit more of an error than a hit situation. But again, when the hits are there, like X, like Marcel the Shell, like Ghost Story going back, and Good Time. By the way, Good Time, certainly a better film than Uncut Gems. Please, I know we got to get on the right page. Got to get on the same page on this. Hey, Colby Mack, good evening to you, sir. What's up with you? I'm going to bring you on live one night. I want to bring Colby. I love Colby. I've had Colby when we used to do Spaces, and I said, let's just not do Spaces anymore. Let's just do it here. I'm going to bring Colby on live because I love Colby. He's really opinionated, which I love, and I think he's really smart, too. Colby, you rock. Thanks for joining tonight. Really appreciate it. Thought Everything Everywhere All at Once was a maximalist orgy of disconnected ideas. Drew, that is a 5-star comment. Style over substance. I could not agree more with that statement about this film. I think it really hits it. It's a great way. I mean, I would put that on the box. The FYC box would be a maximalist orgy, and then just stop. That's it. That's all it would be. Then, of course, it says of disconnected ideas. But it's absolutely style over substance. There's very little heart, pure, like when it hits you and you're like, there's the moment, obviously, at the end where daughter and grandpa, no question. But I'm saying, like, overall, the connection to the film spiritually isn't nearly as strong for me as Ghost Story. Okay, Ghost Story, which is over here. Let me see. You know, listen. I think the ending of Ghost Story. And I need you, if you haven't watched that, you need to go back and watch it again. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. But people talk about the pie scene. Okay, yeah, okay, it was a little excessive. But when you watch the end, the symphonic perfection of that close. There is a track called what's the three? It's 3 words. It's the track playing, but the score. It is one of my favorite single compositions for a film ever. It is absolutely safe is the name of it. Safe, and it is truly the way that David Lowery edits that finish, where you see the passage of time. And then the film is just like, bang, it's over, and he disappears under the sheet. I'm sorry if I gave the film away. It's been out for a long time. That is maybe spiritually, okay? I don't care whatever your religion is. We're not talking about a certain religion. I'm saying spiritually, right in your soul. The soul connection to the screen. I remember at that moment, I think I felt like everything came out of my body. I just went, oh my God, I'm just at this point where I've just been blown away. At a level that I think we all have to agree. There's a spiritual dimension to this world, and hopefully you're connected to it at some level, because when you feel it, it's just like, wow. And that's Ghost Story to me. The end of that film is just absolute symphonic perfection, the way that Lowry, connects all that. And by the way, the Green Knight, which is over my shoulder, sorry, there's another A24 film, is absolutely not my favorite David Lowery film. I mean, I think you got to look at a Ghost Story. I think even The Old Man and the Gun, was that what it's called, the Redford movie, and even go back to Pete's Dragon. Those are all better films. The Green Knight was one of my biggest disappointments because it's such a slog. It's such a boring film, and I think that it needed to have a little more action and adventure. He said that when Lowery made that, he's like, I was thinking of Willow, and like, you can say whatever you want about Willow, but Willow was fun to watch. The Green Knight was not fun. It was like there was nobody having fun in that movie. Everyone was so serious. It was such a serious film. Even the Fox wasn't any fun. Filmstagram is the same way. People attack you if you don't like a film everyone loves. Gone Girl, isn't that the thing? Like, don't do that. You can disagree, but disagree respectfully. That's what we always ask. You come in here and you say, I'm totally wrong about everything everywhere. That's fine. But please don't, attack the person. Well, you're an idiot. Well, come on, man. These are subjective opinions, although some are more right than others. But I think that it's all about respect, and I think a lot of us have lost that, and I'm very disappointed. I think people need to work on that. Milan, good evening to you. Are you excited to see Brad Pitt's upcoming F1 movie? I love Brad Pitt. Let's get that first off. Second of all, honestly, I don't think I even knew about this F1 movie. I know this. Who's directing it? That's my question. Instantly, I want to know who's directing it. If it's Brad Pitt, I imagine he has a very good director. He seems to work with smart directors, so I like his picks. Of course, I'm excited for that because it's Brad Pitt, it's F1, and I would expect that to be huge. Don't forget F1. While it's not huge here in the United States, it has fans, but overseas, F1's huge. It's a major, major sport. So for Brad Pitt to be connected to an F1 film, I'm definitely excited. I just want to know who the director is. Do you know Joyce Carol Oates did not tweet that? Her published tweeted that? What's that mean? JT, tell me. I don't know what that means. Did not tweet that her published tweeted? Her publisher tweeted that? Oh, I didn't. Is that right? That's weird. I didn't know that. Oh my God. This adds a real. Let's go back and look at that. The publisher. So she said now that hold on, let's roll it up. Here we go. Okay, so let me go through just what I want to do on a Sunday night, like go through tweets. I'll make this fast because hold on, here it is. Let's pull it up. Yeah, come on. Why are you not? Here it comes. Okay, so here we go. So I didn't know this, but I'm not going to go through an entire tweet. It's going to take forever, but here it is. So here it is. She says, blah, blah, blah. Apparently you said the publisher sent that? The publisher? Because she's an author. Let's see. Hold on. Well, I don't know where you're seeing that. Interesting, JT. I'm gonna say, obviously you're not just gonna say that, but the interesting part is if that was the case, I would think that it would be another tweet, right? You'd pin it, so you'd have the first tweet, second tweet, and then she'd have a thing like Joyce would have something that says, "Hey, my publisher did that, not me." But I don't see that, so I don't know. It's a weird thing. I just think that the point here that I really want to get into is that we're talking about here is the fact that she says the movie's not good. Let's just assume she wrote it, okay? And then instead of saying, hey, Joyce, you are maybe you're a little misguided here. I don't agree with you. We instantly go to let's dig through all the tweets, okay? And whether this is I'm not talking about this, okay? Which obviously she probably meant as a joke. Maybe it's not funny, okay? I understand. I get that. But my point is like, why do we always, as soon as someone has something we don't like, let's go burn them to the ground? I just don't think that's a very cool thing. I think that doesn't make you cool to do that. I hope that's not how you find your worth, is to someone, I mean, short of someone doing something horrendous, but her saying, come on. That's the thing. But that's weird. I did not know that. Okay, that's it. No more tweets. Let's get on here and just have tweets and talk about them. I mean, we could, but that's what we're doing here. You're putting the tweets in and I'm talking about them. Butler was great and looks phenomenal. Hanks was great. Tom Hanks is a lot, but I like it. Hanks with the projector and Austin's projection, yes. And man, Austin was good. Man, Austin's amazing. I mean, amazing. Jay, oh my gosh, so funny you told me about this Crawdads movie. I literally said, what the hell is Where the Crawdads Sing? I saw this gigantic thing at Burbank, this huge art project, these giant art installations of a film thing. It says, Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm like, what the hell is that? Apparently it's a very popular book. Okay, I did not know this. My mom actually told me, that's a popular book. And I go, okay, but I don't want to see a movie called Where the Crawdads Sing with a Taylor Swift song. That said, I probably will see it. Okay, I'll say this. I will watch Where the Crawdads Sing way before Paws of Fury or DC League of Super Pets. Those two films will not be viewed by me. Unless you guys go to see those two films, Paws of Fury, DC League of Super Pets, and tell me they are the funniest animated films ever created in the history of animated films, I will not watch either of those films. I am 100% out of those films. 100%. I don't want to see it. Kevin, good evening to you. TGM's going to do $500 million international. Analysts were saying it won't be huge overseas because it's about America. F yeah. Film by the end, it was only behind Fallout that 2 without China. Because remember, no China, no Russia. So it's not getting either of those. So it's almost at, like you said, $500 million worldwide. And that's huge. So you're looking at, obviously, $1 billion film here. But yeah, Kevin, I mean, it's really a phenomenon, as I believe Nick said earlier. And I've been saying that for weeks now. Phenomenon. We do not get those very often. Maverick gets a re-release in theaters around Oscar season. I could see that happen. I know that Paramount will be working on FYC campaign right now because they need to. They're ready to go. The film's going to absolutely be an awards player, no question. Colby, again, good evening to you. Black Phone's the most straightforwardest horror film I've seen. Meat and potatoes thriller, not bad. But saying nothing else really, I agree too. I think it's good, but I was not scared. And again, I think that Ethan Hawke was not the right guy for this, not because of Ethan Hawke. It's just I want to see someone who's more menacing. That's it. Very simple. Thor Love and Thunder reviews embargo lift on July 5th. Good. That means I can't review it. Okay. I will have my social media reaction on Wednesday night when I see Thor Love and Thunder. Wednesday night, we're back here. Wednesday. Unless something happens on Tuesday, we'll leave Tuesday off. We'll come on Wednesday and then Thursday. So hey, we can move things around. Very easy here on Midnight Movie Talk. Again, do me a favor. Hammer the like button. Like, subscribe. Okay? God, I got to come up with something better than that. But, something original that other people do not say. But I really appreciate you guys watching. That's ultimately all it's about. Wasn't scared during the Black Phone. More so horrified at the realization that the story can happen in real life. I thought it was handled well. Listen, Scott Derrickson's very good. And like I said in my reaction, that he knows how to tell a suspenseful story. I just don't think it's scary. Okay, it's just not. But it's very well made. I love the 70s aesthetic. I love the year 1978. I remember the songs. So it's definitely a touch of nostalgia as well with that film. The scene behind the Hollywood sign, the way that I move, man, Austin Butler absolutely kills it. I agree. The Hollywood sign was unbelievable. And the music that makes me happy. That's a great high point. Obviously, then right after that, the NBC special, and then Vegas, and there's so many soaring points. How about the first time he sings and he starts moving his hips around and the girls are losing it? I mean, that's great. It's great cinema. It really is. Regal's called Unlimited. Okay, well, I mean, it's not really catchy. I like A-list more, but thank you, JT. Unlimited. And I imagine it's probably 25 too. Nobody wearing a face mask anymore, 100%. I mean, there's a few. And again, if you are wearing a face mask, that's your decision. Nothing wrong with that. But I definitely see fewer and fewer people wearing them. Route 66, good evening to you. Lightyear having a horror movie drop, minus 65. Isn't that the truth? Minus 65. Insane. Very sad Lightyear isn't doing bad at the box. It's not going to, JT. It's over. I mean, it's done. Millions is going to stab it in the heart this weekend. Well, first I said it was going to stomp on its grave. Nope, I apologize. Minions are going to spit on Lightyear's grave. That's so brutalizing. Oh God, Disney, please forgive me for that. I'm just reporting facts. It's Minions will wipe out Lightyear. What's the nicest, kindest way to say that? The Minions will kindly excuse Lightyear out the door. Is that good? There we go. Now I'm back on Disney's good graces. Thank you. At the end of the year, I think Avatar 2 will be the highest grossing film of the year. I don't know, man. Listen, Gone Girl, here's the thing about Avatar 2. You got a long time between films. You're talking over a decade. The question is, will the younger fans go, I want to see Avatar 2? I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's circle back on that as we get closer. All right, 5-minute warning. We are 5 minutes and we are out. So I'm going to gun through because a lot of you have been commenting. I'm way back at like 9. I'm like a half an hour behind comments. You guys are amazing. Legit amazing. I wish more films would do what TGM did and have a pre-recorded message from the lead actor or director welcoming to the movie. Agree. I think it's very simple for someone to do that. Absolutely. Let's get some people that have not spoken, or as many, that way I can get as many people in here as possible. We have 5 minutes. Disney afternoon series should be made into a movie, theatrical or Disney Plus. I would go with Bonkers. I'm gonna have to trust you on that. I don't watch a lot of Disney Plus. I don't watch any Disney Plus. I'm a film guy. Lonely Lizard, I'm sorry, I can't even go there. Do you remember seeing Blue Bayou? Yes. Here's the okay, I'm going to disagree with you here, Drew, 100%. Now, I'll make this short and sweet. Is that I think that film bashes you over the head with its message at the end. It's so much. What Justin did at the end of that film, and I can get into this again. I know not a lot of people have seen the film, but Drew, my main problem with that was that it was literally like at the end, it's like, okay, we got it. Like, you've messaged us. We just leave it a little more subtle. I think that was the thing. And that's, by the way, wasn't an awards film. Because of that, I think ultimately, but Drew, I'm glad you liked it, but I think that was my problem with it for sure. I remember that vividly. You saw Men and Crimes of the Future FC. No, there's no chance. There is 100% no chance that I'm going to watch those unless you tell me that it's great. Okay, Sahil, good evening to you. Welcome to the channel. Get some new people here as we got 4 minutes. Start watching from the TV. Based on my calculations, Lightyear will lose around 130 million. They're going to let less than 50% box office share. Wow, that is so brutalizing, right? Just absolutely brutalizing. And Disney knows it, and they're reeling from that. And they're hoping Thor absolutely kills it and gets to $1 billion. I think it will. David, again, they had a lot of hits in the last few years. Good Time is so amazing. Back to A24. Yep, thank you. What do you think about Peter Strickland's? I'm glad you brought that up. Flux Gourmet, I'm sitting on a screener right now. I'm going to try to watch it tomorrow. I love In Fabric. I told you that was your homework to watch In Fabric, right, a few weeks ago, and a lot of you did. You went out there and watched In Fabric. How badass is that film? The first half of that film is just, oh my God. The filmmaking by Peter Strickland is absolutely some of my favorites, so I'm excited for Flux Gourmet. The reviews seem to be mixed, but I'm sitting on the screener, and I really do want to see it. So, real quick, do you see Don't Worry, Darling is an awards contender? Yes, but the September date does give me pause. It's sitting there at not a great time. I want to see that closer to the window, like November. I think that tells me that they could be actually a little bit not as strong on that film as they should be. I've heard some mixed things on test screenings. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, that's it. I'm worried. I'm a little worried on that release date. I was worried about Elvis's release date. Ultimately, I think I'm right. I think that Elvis is a very, very good film that I really liked, but I don't think it's going to be a Best Picture. It'll be an Austin Butler Best Actor, production design, and sound. That's it. I mean, there was an original song. Wasn't it the Eminem song? I think there's a song attached, so maybe song. So that's it. Oh, whoa. It is Kaczynski who's doing the... Oh, well, then of course it's going to be badass. It's Brad Pitt, F1, and Kaczynski. Kevin, 100% in. Thank you for doing that work for me. I really appreciate it. But oh my God, I didn't even know this. I sometimes I don't want to know all this stuff about the future. I just want to just like talk about now because then I get too excited about things. Nick, what do you make of Smile? I did not watch the trailer. I only watched that like 30-second thing, and I'll tell you what, it is. I don't know the trailer. I don't want to see it because I think it's going to give away a lot of the film. And you know how I feel about trailers. Now, if I'm forced to watch it, I will reply on it and comment on it, if it's in front of one of these movies. I think it was in front of something the other day, and I think I buried my eyes. I literally went like this and went like this because I didn't want to see it, because I didn't want the film to be ruined. Like Nope. The new Nope trailer is too much. Cut back. Universal gives away too much of their film in their trailers. Warner Brothers nails trailers. Look at the Elvis trailer, both of them. Look at, obviously, Joker trailer. Look at even Black Adam. I don't think that last joke's that great on the Black Adam trailer, but I think the trailer looks badass. Warner Brothers trailers, the number one in this city, no question about it. Yeah, Paramount doesn't have until September. Here's the thing. They don't really need anything till September. They got Maverick just absolutely cleaning up. But, it gives them something to focus on. And obviously the expectations for Smile will be, 10 million to start. And then we'll see where it goes. And hopefully we're still in the same spot we are theatrically. Like, that's the key. Can we stay where we are? In as far as the movie-going marketplace, what's going to happen when we get to fall and they start telling us that we have to stay inside again? I'm telling you, it's coming again. You guys know that, okay? You absolutely know that's coming. I hope it doesn't, but, we'll see what happens when it comes to fall. Guys, that's going to wrap it for tonight. That's a nighty night from MMT. Thanks for watching. Please, hammer the like button. Back here on more than likely Wednesday, but check in maybe here on Tuesday, but Wednesday for sure. Thor, Love and Thunder, my spoiler-free thoughts. Wednesday night. Good night.